Let's go on to acute and chronic back and hip pain. And the collection formulas are, for acute back pain, they have a formula called back support. And for chronic pain, they have a also called back support, but it's back support chronic or back support acute. And these are well thought out formulas, and they'll work for you. If you just don't want to carry individual herbs, if you don't want to carry a large pharmacy, you can order these collection formulas, okay? And you can use them as an adjunct to your treatment of pain. Okay, DNA. Let's say you have mid-back pain. Okay, my mid-back, I mean, you know, from the diaphragm down a little bit or from the diaphragm up a little bit. You can use 4 needles, equidistant from the elbow to the wrist, on the lung vessel, the small intestine vessel, the kidney, and the bladder. Now, what am I doing there? I'm considering that the problem in the mid-back is a Taiyang problem, which would be the latissimus muscle or the lower end of the trapezius muscle. And I'm also considering that it probably goes deeper into the spinous erecti muscles, which is, of course, the kidney vessel. So I want to target the kidney, and I want to target the Taiyang, UB. So I'm going to use the lung, which treats the UB, the small intestine treats the UB, the kidney treats the UB, and the kidney treats itself. The bladder treats itself, and the bladder treats the kidney. So you've covered the bladder and the kidney thoroughly by doing that. So where would I needle on the lung vessel? Well, I'm going to needle equidistant from the elbow to the wrist. I'm just going to needle all the way down from lung 5 to lung 9. Small intestine, what is that, 8? Small intestine 4, is that it? And kidney 10 to kidney 3, UB 60 to UB 40. And just put needles all the way along that channel, that Jinglo channel, which is a dermatome basically. And you want to needle all the way along. Now you've covered everywhere from the diaphragm basically to the L5S1, and you've covered from the diaphragm to T1. I mean, you really covered the whole back. So you're not leaving anything out. That will definitely take away mid-back pain. And I like to say also that just to make sure it's not a problem in the foramen joint. You can have these joints coming off the foramen, and you can actually get a little bursitis in those foramen joints, and that can cause pain. And you know, by the way, a lot of these back pains where they shoot an MRI and they tell the patient, well, we can't really figure out why you have back pain. We don't see any disc problem and so forth. It turns out that these radiologists do not even look at these foramen joints because there's no surgical procedure to treat them, so they don't look for them. They tend to follow the money. They look for stuff they can treat. You can get bursitis in the foramen joints. In these tiny little joints, you can get a little bacterial infection in there, and it can cause pain. And that's very often what people have when they have chronic pain. But they don't look at it. If they look, they'd see it, but they don't even look. So anyway, that's how to treat that. Lumborum pain, this is, of course, pain all around that lower back area. You can needle bilaterally, 2 needles on lung 5, 2 on small intestine 7, 2 on small intestine 8, 2 on bladder 40, bladder 39, kidney 9 and 10. So what am I doing? Again, I'm using the lung to treat the UB, small intestine to treat the UB, bladder to treat itself and the kidney, and the kidney to treat itself and the bladder. So you've covered all the lower latissimus muscle and the spinous erector muscles that are underneath of it. So you've really thoroughly covered the area by needling lung 5, 2 needles in that area, lung 7, because you're using half the arm to image the entire back. If half the arm here images the whole back, oh, that's cool. If half the arm images this whole thing, then you know, the elbow is here and the wrist crease here, or vice versa. So simply by needling lung 5 to lung 7 or 9, you're covering, again, everything. Or if you look at the entire arm to treat the whole back, then, of course, the lower back is going to be from the diaphragm down and T12 down, and that's, you can also look at it that way. So you're needling here from what? Lung 5. I'm sorry, so I'm needling all around the elbow. So on a half image, that's the lower back. The elbow on a half image can be either the lower back or the upper back. We're choosing the lower back. Now, for those of you who think it's voodoo, does it treat the upper back? Yeah, of course it does. That's why a lot of times you stick needles in and you're targeting the lower back. They'll say, oh, my back pain around my neck just went away. Well, yeah, it treats that too. So if half the arm treats the whole back, then on a reverse image, the lower back is the elbow area and the lower back is the knee area. So that's what I did here. I used the lung 5, I used lung 7 and 8, small intestine 7 and 8, bladder 40 area, 39, and then kidney 10 and kidney 9. So I'm needling around the elbows and I'm needling around the knees. If half the arm represents the whole back and it's reversed, the knee and elbow area are targeting the lower back. I'm using the lung to treat the lower back, bladder. I'm treating the small intestine to treat the lower back, bladder. I'm using the kidney to treat the lower back, kidney and bladder. I'm treating the bladder to treat the lower back, bladder, and kidney. Covers everything. Quadratus lumborum channel, that's a kidney problem, kidney channel problem. And here I'm targeting now, I'm going after the kidney. And so what treats the kidney? The heart treats the kidney treats the kidney, bladder treats the kidney, large intestine treats the kidney, and that covers everything. And look at the points that I'm using. I'm using points again around this whole elbow knee area. And I actually went down. I went all the way down the bladder channel. Look at that. So I'm mixing things up a little bit. I'm using the wrist now to treat the lower back. So I'm going large intestine 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going from the wrist to on up the arm a little bit, all the way to large intestine 9. So I'm using the whole arm now to represent the back. And the quadratus is this area here. It's like the mid-back. So I'm choosing area from the elbow down and from the knee down to try to get at everything. Remember that the quadratus lumborum muscle is basically halfway between it starts at the diaphragm area and it goes down. So you've got to have quite an image. It's a big muscle. So you want to go from basically the diaphragm, T12, all the way down to about L4, L5. So I've tried to spread the image here along all these vessels. It's really easy. Once this golfing muscle, the quadratus lumborum, it's a turning muscle. And people can get, where it really hurts if they've had to pick heavy stuff up and turn, or they're golfing. Excuse me. It's so easy to treat. Once you understand it's the kidney, it's amazing how quickly it goes away once you target that. Generally, you will never have, I would say, 75% of the time, you just have to put in these kidney points and the bladder points, and it goes away. If it doesn't completely go away, add the large intestine ones, and that should do it. Okay? And the heart ones. Gluteus Maximus, we're using lung 7, 8, 9, bladder 58, 59, 60, that's down at the ankle. Kidney 7, 8, 9. Now we're going up a ways. We're just spreading the image. Small intestine 4, 5, and 6. We're spreading the image from the wrist up. So I'm basically using everything from about the wrist up the arm a little bit. Now, my imaging method for treating the back and the abdomen is I say the wrist and I say the ankle can be the pubic symphysis area, or it can be T1. But it really depends on how long the person's arm really is. If you want a more accurate image, then just have the person stand up, drop their arms down, have them point out where the pain is in the gluteus area, draw a line across, and see where it intersects their arm. That's the image for that person. That'll work rather than having some standardized image. Because some people have short arms, some people have long arms. Just draw a line across. Most of the time, the gluteus area is in this area of the wrist, which means this area of the lower leg. So that's why I'm put a lot of needles in that area. Okay? If you had really short arms, it's possible. The gluteus maximus pain sometimes on people with very short arms is actually the hand. Now, ignore this. Don't ignore the different, you can needle the lung, you can still needle the lung, the bladder, kidney, and the small intestine, but where would you needle? Well, in the bladder, you'd be 60, 61, 62, 63, like that. The kidney, it's kidney 2, and above and below kidney 2. You'd needle small intestine 3 and 4, and you needle lung 10. And we'll take away the buttock pain. So go by the length of that person's arm and how it intersects the pain area. Just draw a line across and then spread the image.